You know, Dana, we talk about this all the time. Now more than ever, people are using apps to help them navigate Las Vegas.
Definitely. I can't live without it.
And we have one that covers it all. The best part about it, it is free. Download the VegasNearMe app on the Google Play and in the Apple App Store. But be sure to use the link down in our show notes to download it to your phone now.
Figure out where to park, how much it costs, get full detailed maps of all our hotel casinos, book a restaurant or an Uber. You're also going to find restaurant coupons, sightseeing tour deals, and more. A free app, and it could save you money. We love that. If it's fun to do or see, it's on Vegas Near Me.
It is episode 262 of Vegas Revealed, and the Vanderpump Hotel is coming to the Vegas Strip.
Plus, we finally have a Beyoncé tour date.
And a couple places you can relax poolside at our resorts, and you don't have to be a hotel guest.
Prime Steakhouse at Bellagio gets a refresh, and we answer a listener's question.
It's all coming up this week on Vegas Revealed.
Vegas Revealed starts now.
Welcome to Vegas Revealed, episode 262. I'm Sean McAllister, along with Dana Roselli, and we are in the thick of hoops action, Dana.
We are. Happy March Madness. Can I start with a quick gripe, though?
Absolutely.
The cost of my Wendy's Diet Coke.
Uh-oh. What was it?
I got a medium Diet Coke. That's it.
Yeah.
Drove through Wendy's because we just left our meeting. We're on the board of the Ronald McDonald House, and there was wings and pizza, and I had a water, but I was like, I really want Diet Coke after that. Anyway, $3.57 for a medium soda.
Wow.
From the machine with ice.
With lots of ice? Did they load it up with ice?
Well, I hope not, because
that cuts down on the soda, yeah.
I know. But anyway, can you believe it? I mean, like, I get like coffee being around $4.28. You know, you're brewing the coffee. It's your whether it's even locally owned or Starbucks, like they make the coffee there. The person does it. They pour in your almond milk, stir it, put it together. But this like comes out of a machine. Somebody hooked up the
tank,
carbon tank or whatever. Anyway, God, isn't that crazy?
Man, so
$3.57 for a medium.
Now, did that include a convenience fee for going through the drive-thru?
I have no idea.
I wonder if it would have been cheaper if you walked in.
I don't know. Regardless, I was very disappointed.
Well,
I know. So anyway, it was through Wendy's. And we don't have a lot of Wendy's around here. And that's why it looked familiar. So I was like, Wendy's. We had so many of those on the East Coast. And I went through and anyway.
Well, guess who's not going back to Wendy's anytime soon?
Me. Lesson
Roselli.
learned. Lesson learned. All right. Back to March Madness. It's a big deal here in Las Vegas because everyone comes in to watch games, bet games. And we have so many events up and down and off the strip.
Yeah, we do. And there's so many groups of people who come in. You know, there's friends who live in different parts of the countries who converge on Las Vegas especially for these first few days of games. And then, you know, the tournament continues through the beginning of April. But these few days really are the most exciting. And fortunately, here in Las Vegas, we have the weather where you can watch poolside.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be, okay, so I know you're doing like a bunch of March Madness stuff. Well, going to watch the games on Friday. And on that day, 75 and sunny, which is perfect, right?
It really is.
So I saw this and I thought, okay, the Pool at Sahara is doing an event.
Yeah, it's an ultimate outdoor viewing party for all of the basketball games starting at 8:30 each day.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I guess, you know, they're going to broadcast the tournament on that big 240-foot long LED video wall that they have and then have smaller screens. They're going to have like tailgate style games, some cornhole, some beer pong, and then a bunch of activations. And it's free to get in.
I mean,
general admission.
That's great.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good option. Then, I mean, Caesar sent us a whole list of things they're doing, and I know we've talked about a million things. Like, literally everywhere is, you know, having an event, and it's hard to choose, but there's plenty to pick from. But browse around, and if you're coming into town, and then you said games will continue, obviously, but this is like the big
Well, this is like when you're looking at the bracket.
The madness.
We're looking at the far right and the far left side of those brackets, where all of those games are. As you get closer to the center of your bracket, obviously there's fewer games being played, and fewer games means less game time on TV.
Right.
So that's the exciting part, is that the games are just about nonstop in these first few days in the outside of the bracket. So yes, I'm looking forward to being out. I've not made official plans yet.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where we're going to end up to watch the games on that Friday.
Okay. Well, you'll have to report back and tell us how it was.
I absolutely will.
This is a big one. The Luxor Buffet is closing, and this is all the buzz in Las Vegas, because I also, as a Vegas insider, did not realize this, that it's been there for more than 30 years.
Yeah, I honestly didn't realize that it was still open.
I know, true. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like everyone's upset it's closing, and then you're always like, well, wait, did you go there?
Yeah, how often are you there? Is this like your Sunday routine? Hitting up the buffet over there? I don't know.
Right. Well, apparently people who have gone there, I've never been. I've been to the one at Excalibur, but not Luxor. They say it's one of the most fun buffets in town, apparently. And we're also letting you know, because you have to March 30th to go. So if you haven't been, like us, you might want to get over there before March 30th. And but it's, definitely like, I guess it's like the Egyptian style and like the whole thing. But it's also only open 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So like a breakfast lunch type thing. But, as the kind of buffet is starting to go away, there were a few staples, and I guess this was one of them. And people are kind of bummed that it's closing.
Well, and it's a pretty good value as far as buffets go. It's about $32 for adults to get into the buffet. If you're a Nevada local and have your ID, $27. But compared to some other buffets that we have on the Strip, they're more of the luxury buffet, and those can be like $75, $80 and upwards.
Right. So what's the point? Well, I guess you have more variety of food, and you can get up and get it and refill when you want.
And I mean, you can go in and have as many crab legs as you want.
Right.
And like get that high, you can fill your plate with prime rib and do all of that kind of stuff to make it worth your money. But that's the reason I generally don't go to buffets, because I don't feel like I can eat enough in one sitting to make it worth it.
Right.
And I'm definitely not rolling in there with Tupperware.
No.
To like fill up and take it home.
And I feel like they probably don't allow that anymore.
No, they probably don't.
There's cameras everywhere. All right. Well, if you want to head over to the Luxor Buffet, you've got until March 30th. And so could be kind of fun and to visit it for the first time or revisit it before it closes.
We got some new hotel news.
Yeah, this was out of nowhere, wasn't it?
It kind of was. It kind of snuck up on us. We woke up one day and all of a sudden, Lisa Vanderpump, the reality star she became a household name from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Uh-huh.
But before that, she was a restaurateur, a hotel operator, and she's doing that again here on the Las Vegas Strip with Vanderpump Hotel.
I know. Well, Vanderpump Rules is her show, right? Is that a reality show?
It is. That came after
all that. Okay.
Beverly Hills Housewives.
Got it. And I think we're surprised because she had just opened Pinky's at the Flamingo.
Right.
And that's another lounge-ish restaurant. She's got, a lounge restaurant at Paris. Vanderpump Paris, is that right?
That's right.
And then the cocktail garden at Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's, yep.
So, I mean, she's just pumping them out.
She is pumping them out.
She's Vanderpumping them out, and now she's opening a hotel. But here's what's happening: the Cromwell. If you've been to the Cromwell or you visited Las Vegas, you may have been there and realized, okay, this is kind of a standalone hotel. It's part of the Caesars, properties. Giada's in there, Dre's pool club and nightclubs in there, and it's got actually a really nice casino floor. But she's going to be basically refurbishing it, and it will open as the Vanderpump Hotel. So you ask, well, what is she going to do to it that's going to make it different?
What is she going to do to make it different, Dana?
Well, she's bringing her aesthetic and her distinctive design to enhance the hotel reception area, the front desk area. She's going to introduce an all-new lounge and then redesign the 188 guest rooms and suites. And apparently it's going to feature some of her signature light fixtures and furnishings and all that kind of thing. And then she personally is going to hand select the amenities for hotel guests.
Ooh, I'm interested to see what Lisa will hand select.
Right.
Now, this property is unique on the Las Vegas Strip. It's essentially a boutique hotel tucked in between all of these other massive resorts that we have on Las Vegas Boulevard. So I think it's a really smart idea to have Lisa take this over, have a name, a star attached to it. It's going to bring people in. I mean, if you go to any of her restaurants, whether it's or lounges over at Caesar's Palace or Paris or now Flamingo, like it is packed. There is a line of people waiting to get in at just about any time of day. And she has her fans, and her fans will support her.
Oh my gosh. Even if she's ever had an opening and we've been at it, it's like packed with people trying to get a glimpse of her.
Shoulder to shoulder. Yes.
And, you know, sometimes if she has friends or cast members from the reality shows show up, like they're all into it.
Yep. So I think
so much drama.
There is always drama. Drama. There's love triangles. She has it all on her show. And I'm sure that, you know, the people who come and visit Vanderpump Hotel might bring their own drama and love triangles, but that's for them to do, not for Lisa. I think it's going to be a hot spot for bachelorette parties.
For sure.
And that kind of thing. So
yeah,
good on him. I think it's smart.
I know. Caesar sent us some like B-roll and interviews with Lisa, and so I just want to play a little clip from that, so we can hear from Lisa Vanderpump herself, and she talks about how this is a really big moment for her.
This is just going to be something that's so different for the Vanderpump family, because normally we're used to creating something, a restaurant space, from the ground up, but now we're actually revisiting a hotel that's a classic boutique hotel on the Las Vegas Strip, and we're working within the perimeters of the hotel, so it's definitely going to be something different, but no less exciting for sure. I think whatever we do, Vanderpump Lane, as designers, we really commit to it. We really take it very seriously, however playful it is. And I always say in design, give me anything, but don't give me boring. I think one of the most exciting things for me is people always tell me they do the Vanderpump crawl and they go from restaurant to restaurant. Now they can wake up with me and they can go to sleep with me. I think creating the bedrooms and making everything just so perfect is just something I'm very, very excited to discover. I think also creating different amenities and really leaning into the creativity. I think one thing we're known for, especially Vanderpump Lane, is really taking things to a different level. And I think with the Cromwell Hotel, changing that into the Vanderpump Hotel, hey, how could I not be more excited? I never imagined that my name would be on a hotel on one of the most famous boulevards in the world. It's quite extraordinary. I think they've got something like 150,000 hotel rooms in Las Vegas. It truly is iconic, and it is the playground of America, and if not the world. As a restaurateur, it's actually been a gift to come to Vegas, because I believe Las Vegas, is the playground of the world. And to create these incredible spaces has just been so exhilarating. I remember as a young woman coming to Las Vegas and thinking it was like this magical city, something I'd never seen before. So to have these beautiful places in Las Vegas has been a gift professionally, and I think also emotionally, creating these incredible venues.
And so, Sean, they're describing it as, if you want to know, like the vibe, there's going to be an emphasis on sexy elegance and comfort, with gorgeous rooms and a fresh new feel for the casino floor.
Ooh, and that's this week's vibe check.
Yes, that's the vibe check. But Lisa sounds really excited because, like she mentioned, you know, when she was a kid, she came here and it just felt like, oh my gosh, Las Vegas. And now she's going to, you know, add on to her, you know, already existing places and actually have a standalone hotel named after her. It's amazing.
Well, it is a big deal and it's different having your name on a lounge than it is to have your name on a hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. So congratulations to Lisa Vanderpump and Caesars. Their partnership seems to be going great.
Yeah.
And I hope this is a continuation of that. I think it's something that fans are really going to love.
So it opens early 2026. So we actually don't have to wait too long for that. So they'll start, refurbishing soon.
And by the way, the property is going to stay open while they're doing all of these upgrades. So I imagine it'll be a phased thing. The whole building isn't shutting down.
No. And as of right now as well, Giada is planned to stick there and Dre's. So no talk of them closing anytime soon.
Hey, a while ago, you may remember we talked about this when Beyoncé announced her big stadium tour.
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas was listed on the tour stops, but there were no dates given.
Right.
And people were like, oh, what's going to happen? Is she going to be at Allegiant Stadium? Is Beyoncé going to do a big Sphere show? Like, what is the cryptic message that she's trying to send out by telling us she's stopping in Las Vegas, but not giving us dates?
Right.
Well, now we have clarity.
I know, but I wonder what did take so long. Well, anyway, the show is July 25th at Allegiant Stadium. I don't know. We were saying maybe it was a scheduling thing. There's a bunch of shows in July, right? Is that when The Weeknd and he's July 4th and 5th?
I think so, yeah.
And then I can't remember when Kendrick Lamar is coming. He might be May. Anyway, I just feel like there's a lot going on in the summer for Allegiant Stadium. So anyway, she's now July 25th, and I don't know. We don't know the reason what took so long, but it doesn't really matter. The tickets go on sale March 25th at 12 p.m., which is for general, but there's a bunch of Beehive pre-sale stuff going on.
I'm not in the Beehive.
No.
My neighbors just had a beehive taken out of their wall. Side note.
Side note. Hey, we talked about this before, too. Rod Stewart added shows this year suddenly. Well, now he's added more shows at the Coliseum. So Sir Rod doing, his new refurbished residency called the Encore Shows that he announced after
his other
run.
residency. He closed one residency and immediately started another.
He's adding more encore shows.
Okay.
So the
encore continues.
The 6 new concerts going on sale in September. They've got the 24th, 26th, and 27th on the schedule, and then in October 1st, 3rd, and 4th. If you want to see Sir Rod Stewart, which we admit puts on a fabulous show.
He puts on a great show, and he's still got tons of energy. Good on Rod for keeping that encore going. Keep the applause going for Rod. David Blaine also adding shows. He's performing over at the Encore Theater at Wynn Las Vegas. The new performance dates are July 23rd, 25th, and 26th. And then there's other dates into mid-November.
Yeah.
All those show times are 8 p.m. Before, when we announced that he was coming back to Encore, those dates are coming up this spring in April.
Mm-hmm.
But now we know that he's sticking around with more dates through late fall.
I feel like every time he does a run, I do see a lot of buzz about it. Like people who haven't been before and go are like, my mind was absolutely blown.
It's just such a different kind of magic show.
Yeah.
That no other magician on the strip is like David Blaine's show, which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Hey, I just like seeing Ringo Starr hanging out in Vegas, and I'm glad he's coming back. And he's doing a bunch of shows, too. 6 performances, actually, scheduled at the Venetian, September 17th, 19th, 20th, 24th, 26th, 27th. This is cool to see Ringo in town. It's Ringo and his all-star band. We can't leave them out. But they're going to be back at the Venetian doing shows, and I think that's cool. It's the 3rd year in a row for them, and I don't know. I just remember watching him stop in and see the cast of Love before they closed. And he was just so gracious and, complimentary, and people seemed excited to see him. I mean, he's, iconic.
He is iconic, and he is no stranger to Las Vegas either.
Mm-mm.
I feel like just when I think Ringo sightings have died down, he's coming back with more shows.
Right.
And I love it.
I know. That is really cool.
Keep them coming, Ringo.
Hey, we did get a question. You can always text us in our show notes. It says text us, and a text comes in right to us. We don't get your phone number. We don't get your name. You can enter whatever you want to enter. But we actually got a question on our website this week, and we could hold this closer to the holidays, but we figured we'd address it real quick. It's from Ali, and he says, I have a question for the show. Love the show, by the way, he says.
Thanks, Ollie.
I know. Thanks, Ollie. He says, I live in the UK, and he's booked a trip for his wife and him. It says surprise, so I'm like, if the wife listens, maybe she doesn't. I feel like Ollie listens and the wife doesn't. So booked a surprise trip. Let's hope.
Otherwise, surprise.
Anyway, he's going to fly out the day after Christmas and stay through for the holidays. He just wanted some hints and tips on any insights we may have for things to do during that holiday week that will be fun / romantic / exciting. He's staying at Caesar's Palace. So we sit there and we go, I mean, first of all, which we kind of need to know is if he's ever been here before, but assuming he hasn't, or maybe even decided, when you go fun, romantic, exciting, I feel like you and I have the standards that you just have to do.
Yeah.
And so I was just going to mention, you need to go on a Venetian gondola ride. You need to go check out the beautiful Bellagio Conservatory, especially at holiday time, because they do a fantastic holiday display. All fresh flowers, moving parts. It's just beautiful. It's free. It's open 24/7. And then I was thinking maybe dinner at the top of the Eiffel Tower if you want to splurge. It's pricey, but so romantic.
It is. That's beautiful up there.
It
I mean, it's a
is.
great view. You have the fountains of Bellagio going off right down underneath you.
It's great. And
The
it's
F1
like dark.
track setup is probably going to be nearly taken down by
Right.
that point.
True. It should be. It should be. I know. And it's like dark and like romantic in there
Moody,
too.
yeah.
Moody. Yeah. I think that's good. And then LA 66 at the top of Resorts World is a great place for a drink and a really cool view. Same thing in the evening time. It's dark. The view is gorgeous. It's a nice little, definitely a great lounge. And then I was thinking maybe go to Carbone for dinner because Carbone's, a hard reservation to get. Oh,
so
this
make
is
a reservation now for
Yes.
Christmas.
So see, answering this now makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Ollie, book Carbone. It's hard to get a reservation. It's at Aria. It's Italian. It's fantastic. I love it there. So that's a good idea. And then, we were saying there's so many different things. Like we don't know yet what some of the headliners will be doing. Like sometimes people do Christmas shows. Those are always great. Pick one. We have a lot of great singers that come in, dancers, all sorts of stuff that do special things. So we'll have to wait on that one. But there's obviously tons of holiday displays around. The ice rinks are open. Fontainebleau did one last year. Cosmopolitan has one. You can roast marshmallows in a fire pit and have cocktails and ice skate.
Because my sister came and stayed with us over Christmas, this past Christmas.
Right.
And she stayed down on the strip for a couple nights and absolutely loved just roaming around. Made a day of casino hopping, not to necessarily play, but to just see all of the sights because it is so pretty at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I would suggest, we have those double-decker buses that go up and down the Las Vegas Strip and even downtown,
Right.
down near Fremont Street too. Anyway, you can buy a hop on, hop off pass that's good all day long, so that you can just go hop on the bus, take it to whatever resort is closest to where you want to be next, hop off, and then just keep doing that throughout the day. And you don't have to worry about getting Ubers, getting a taxi, all that kind of thing. You just go to the bus stop, and
Right.
that's a good alternative also.
Sure. Yeah, why not? Because, the walking, it looks like it's easy to walk, and it can be, but the strip is long.
Speaking of walking, can I just tell you, every time I drive past the airport to get on the highway, I see somebody who is walking with their luggage who thought it was a good idea to save some cash and walk to the airport.
Oh my God.
That is a bad, bad, bad idea.
Yes.
If you ever consider it, immediately squash that thought because A, it is not close. You're going to be walking forever and you'll probably miss your flight.
Right.
B, it is very dangerous. The roads that lead into the airport are not designed for any sort of pedestrian traffic at all.
And that's a long stretch.
That's
when you enter the airport.
Yes.
Like to get to the
Even
check-in.
to drive it, it's long.
Far.
So it
yeah.
loops you around. You're not going direct to the to the passenger drop-off area.
Right.
So don't walk
Don't walk.
to the airport. And consider taking transportation between major resorts, especially from one end of the strip to the next.
I know.
Because it really is not close.
It's not. And, you can take a taxi or Uber. Taxi back and forth to the strip now has that fixed
right.
kind
They
of
have a fixed rate.
fixed rate. Yeah. So a lot of people think they're going to get like gouge, and you can't really anymore. But, that's like to hotels and to the airport, like that, just back and forth. So I don't know. And Uber, Lyft, I mean, it's worth it.
It is.
It
is.
Yeah.
And Ali, just keep listening as the holidays draw closer. God, it's hard to believe we're thinking about holidays.
I'm not thinking about the holidays. I'm answering Ali's question, and I am.
And then stopping the holiday thoughts.
I'm not thinking anything holiday whatsoever. All right. Well, we just gave you a bunch of tips, but let's do more. It's time for our actual tips segment. Well, Sean, next week, the weather report on our phone that we just looked at says it's going to be 87 one day and 89 degrees one day.
I love it.
We love it, but we're saying it's way too soon.
It's way too soon. This happened last year when it was like the thermostat, the natural thermostat was switched to heat, and we were just bombarded. We didn't have that nice chunk of spring weather.
Yeah.
It just went from cool to hot.
We've got that this week. We're in the 70s, and then it goes to the high 80s. But I think it'll go back down again. Let's hope. I mean, a little bit. I mean, because the high 70s and low 80s are beautiful.
That's perfect.
It's great layout weather. But listen, start to get the base tan, all that kind of thing. But pools are open here in Las Vegas. We mention it all the time. Just wanted to quickly mention to you, our listeners, that if you are coming into Las Vegas, a lot of time people like to try different pools, or they want to know like, hey, can I go to this pool and can I go to that pool? And usually the pools at resorts are limited to just, the guests that are staying at the hotel.
You need to show a room key or something like that.
Right. But Palms Pool has a great thing going. It's for locals and also for non-hotel guests. And that is that you can go there for free. No cover. You can park there for free. And then they do have this free cabana program for Las Vegas locals Monday through Thursday too. So if we have any locals listening. But I thought that was really cool. The Palms is just set off the strip. So they have a great pool. It's a little bit more chill and a little bit more relaxed. So...
But it's a nice area out there.
Now I'm starting to think, did we do this last week? I feel like I'm reminiscing about having this conversation before.
Well, I think we had it on the TV show.
Maybe. This is funny. We also wanted to mention the Fontainebleau's new, it's not new, well, everything's new at the Fontainebleau. Le Cote, by the way, over at the Fontainebleau, it's a poolside restaurant. They do breakfast, brunch, lunch. That is open to non-hotel guests this year too. And I think it's opening, early April. So keep that in mind because the Oasis pool is gorgeous. So you can't go to the pool as a non-hotel guest, but you could go to the cafe.
And Fontainebleau also at their Oasis pool is doing a summer movie series out there again as well. And that is open to non-hotel guests. Also, hey, from poolside to lakeside over at Bellagio, the lake out in front of there, they have some great restaurants that butt right up to the backside of that lake, and one of them is Prime Steakhouse, which is debuting a new era of fountainside dining over there at Bellagio. The restaurant has a new look. The menu has been reimagined, and it looks absolutely stunning. If you've been into Prime for dinner before, you know that it always has had like those big, thick, rich fabric choices and all that kind of stuff. Well, they've kind of lightened up the atmosphere a little bit. And they have a huge patio that overlooks the fountains as well. So Prime is another one of those spots maybe Ollie could look into.
It's a prime spot.
It is a prime spot. It has that name for several reasons.
Well, and that's the thing. I feel like sometimes people do ask about like, where can I sit to see the fountains? And I feel like for years, people would say places across the street from
Right.
but never at Bellagio. And like you really have to you have to dig deep to find the patios. And I don't know, I feel like that maybe they're trying to make it special with that. You know, it's not all out there. They're not pushing it all the time.
Right.
Because it is a hot ticket too. But like Spago, then Lago, and then Prime. And there are
And
restaurants.
Mayfair Supper Club.
Yeah.
Right along there too.
Yeah. So there are places that have, patio seating in front of the Bellagio fountains at the Bellagio.
Yes.
Not always just across the street. Because everyone always talks about, the Paris restaurant there.
And Mon Ami Gabi.
Yeah, where you can see the fountain. That's a great spot too. And a classic, longtime classic. So, but there are places there. So I'm excited. I'm glad that they didn't close Prime. They just reimagined it, gave it a little refresh, and it's back.
And it's a great steakhouse too. So you're not going to go wrong with anything over there at Prime. That is this week's episode.
Yeah, and we mention all the time what things look like. So again, we do put a lot of stuff in our TV show. You can go to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, watch, share it with friends. But if maybe you just prefer to do the audio podcast too, that's fine. But just so you know, if you ever want to see any of the things that we're talking about, we do have a half-hour TV show that we post every single week.
And we want to thank the Vegas Near Me app. It is all things Las Vegas right in your pocket. You can find dinner, show, transportation options, and book them all within the app. There's incredible detailed maps of properties and theaters and all sorts of stuff. Download the Vegas Near Me app from the Apple App Store or on Google Play. You will thank us because it'll come in handy. Yeah. Guarantee it.
I mean, the information is endless. We always tell George, you're putting so much information in here. And he's like, isn't it cool? And it is cool. It's just that you really need to actually download it and spend some time surfing around because you'll find some really useful things. One time I looked at something and it said like show in progress. Like it even shows when...
Yeah, exactly.
When things are actually happening and in the, this show's in progress right now and here's the next one. I mean, it's just really helpful. So again, Vegas Near Me, easy to find, easy to download, and we appreciate you sponsoring our audio podcast. Have a great week.